Hi guys, hello, Miranda here. I am here with Katie Plowes and we are doing the first ever Medical Aesthetics Mindset Warriors podcast. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time and people keep asking me, can we get our Facebook Lives and put them on audio? And I thought, balls to it. I have Katie in Skin Viva today. So I've grasped her and she's very kindly agreed for me to pick her brains. To my outcome for this podcast is I want to delve, Katie. I want to understand what goes on in your mind that allows you to be brave, particularly with regards to marketing. So the mindset that gets you ready to do your marketing. So a little bit of a background about you. So you are a nurse.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about how long you've been doing aesthetics.
So I have recently delved into aesthetics, actually. I've only been in it 7 months.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm pretty new to it. But as you have noticed, I've sort of jumped with 2 feet into it and really networked with people and building up relationships with other aesthetic nurses, doctors, the full shebang.
Yeah.
Just because I think if you work as a group, you just support each other, don't you? But yeah, I'm only 7 months in at the moment.
Amazing. So I'll just ask myself now, why have you come to my attention? So we obviously have the Medical Aesthetics Mindset Warriors Facebook group, which has only been going 10 months. And a few months into that, I noticed that you literally came on and did a video, which I don't know if anyone had ever done before.
Oh.
I mean, I think people had done videos, they'd shared videos that they were doing on their Facebook page. Yeah. But they hadn't done a video just reflecting on their own thoughts about mindset. Right. And the first video, I don't know whether you remember, that you did was in an ice rink in Blackpool, I presume. And you literally just were reflecting on the difficult time that you'd had recently with a car crash. Yeah. Or was it relatively recently? When was that?
Yeah, February.
Yeah. Okay. But what I adored about it was that you were owning that negative experience that you had, and then crucially, you were using it to your advantage. Yeah. So you were saying, like, what negative happened to me and how can I use that in my life? Yeah. But then the other thing that I really adored about you, and everyone else has come to adore as well, is that you were just sass personified. Like, you were just really electric to watch, and had this kind of like a presence, a strength, a core that makes you incredibly watchable. And this is why it's quite a shock actually to know that you've been doing it 7 months.
Yeah.
So what I want to delve in with you is about, where do you get that strength from, and how, because guys who'll be listening to this podcast, I'm here to serve you. I want to whoever I interview, or whether it's just me talking or whatever, this podcast, I want it to be about how do we mine you and go into your brain and find out what makes you brave so that other people can be brave as well. And interestingly, I think just one more thing I'd say about you, which you pretty much already said, which is that I think you want to help and you want to give strength to other people, don't you?
Definitely.
Because you recognise that will give it back to you.
Yeah. I think, the strength that I've built is massive internal validation.
Right. See, I'm even on a journey with that.
Suck it up from other people. It's got to be from me.
Why?
And it's still a challenge. It's not like a dead set that I'm always confident in myself. Why? Probably because other people you can't rely on. Okay. Who can you rely on more than yourself? Okay. If you've got your own back, then you are powerful, aren't you?
Yeah. Now let's just back up, because me and you are probably kind of mindset heads. We have this lingo. So what does internal validation mean to you?
Yeah. So it basically means that I don't need other people to reward me in any way for me to feel that I'm worthy. Because I know I'm worthy myself.
Worthy of what?
I suppose it's just worthy of who I am and my place in the world. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, is it?
No.
It's just being me. I'm worthy of being happy, getting what I want in life, and sharing a nice life with my family and cherishing each other.
Yeah.
And bouncing off each other's energy as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you're a really good soul, you just spread it on everyone else, don't you?
Yeah. And it comes back, is my experience as well.
Yeah.
So you are internally validated, or you're very far on your journey with it. I'd say I'm on a journey as well.
Yeah.
I don't know that I potentially, with regards to this particular issue, I don't know if I'm as far as you, to be honest. I still feel other people's energy, whether it be compliments or criticisms, and I still take them on board, I think, too much, but I'm very much there. I'm in the arena, I'm battling, I know, I have the consciousness, so I know it's not a good thing to be always, waiting for other people's, because you're waiting, that's the problem with it, isn't it? If someone...
Do you know what though, Miranda? I find that if you are self-aware and you're comfortable with, I suppose, judging yourself, taking critique, life's a lot easier and you're a lot more resilient. So I'm very much a forgiver of myself.
Okay.
So if I make a mistake and I've, made a bit of an issue with a communication error or, said the wrong thing to someone, I'll think back and I'll go, well, yeah, that happened to you in your past. That's probably why you did that. You're forgiven. And how do we move on and correct it and grow from that and improve?
But, right, so you forgive yourself, but what I have experienced, particularly in the past, is I didn't want to forgive myself. So I didn't, because, and this is the crucial difference, actually, if I'm honest, I wanted to stay in the bad place. So let's make this real. So let's say, for example...
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The brat place for me.
Exactly, yeah. So talk to me about that. So give me an example of where you have gone into a bad place. If you're honest, you'd be getting your needs met from that bad place.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, it doesn't... I want to hear about the rise out of it. I want to hear where you said, no, this is not serving me, and I'm going to come out of it.
And it is that moment of, you see yourself spiralling, don't you?
Yeah.
It reminds me of, when were you ever a child and you've walked into a table and you hit the table?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, you damn you, table.
Yeah.
It's the table's fault.
Yeah.
And you get into this, like you say, a bad mindset, and you feel yourself really irritated, and you just have to go, hang on a minute, and just stop and realise what you're doing. Just give yourself a moment and think, what happiness is this bringing me?
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah.
How is it affecting other people? Not very well. And it can be challenging, can't it? It's not always an easy win. But yeah, it does serve you if you just stop and think, how can I move on from this? But I think if I just stop and think about it, it just works. Because then I realise I'm being silly.
But what's going on there, though, I would say, is that when you said, what happiness is that, what happiness am I getting from blaming this table? And the answer is none.
Yeah.
That's amazing, but I think the reason that people don't do that, so let's use road rage as more sort of like, let's say that someone has cut you up in the motorway and they're in like some snazzy BMW and they're like, you think they're a bit of a dick or whatever, and they're going off into the distance, and you think, and you risked me and my child, and you start getting into a rage.
Yeah.
Actually, what I have found in the past is that the reason that people want to stay there is because because blame is nice. If it's someone else's fault, then it's not our fault that now we're letting our day being ruined. Yeah. It's not our fault that, for example, the way this shows up is that people quit aesthetics. Yeah. So people quit aesthetics because they make the bad things that happen to them. So, for example, someone being mean to them online, they make that someone else's fault. Because if it's someone else's fault that they've been mean to online, and now I feel like quitting because, oh my God, like,
victim
how can
mode.
I survive? Well, I mean, basically. So that's why I think we stay in our bad states, because we know that well, subconsciously, we know that if we kind of stay there in that kind of like, the fetal position, rocking backwards and forwards, then it's not our fault. We feel it's not our fault, but actually it is. So with that in mind, if you are asking yourself seems like such a simple question of, is this making me happy?
Yeah.
And you come up with a conclusion, not no. That means, I think, that you are quite connected with what happiness means to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the whole game of mindset, is understanding what does good look like. What's in it for me to get out of this road rage? Because I think people don't know. They don't understand. So you have, within 7 months, quickly connected with what aesthetics could bring for you.
Yeah.
And what do you see that? Like, when you're having your quiet moments, when you're daydreaming, and what do you think aesthetics could bring for you? What's your goal?
My main goal is financial freedom. And going into aesthetics just felt like it fit me as a person because, well, it's a bit glamorous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I feel a bit glamorous.
Yeah,
so.
you are glamorous.
So, yes, and it's medical, and obviously I am a nurse, and it just fit in well. But my goal is, financial freedom, being my own boss babe.
What would that bring you?
I think it's not having someone above me telling me what to do. Having that, I suppose, a control freak. But it is just having that, I will choose when I want to do whatever and work on my own clock. And I love talking to people, I love connecting people, I love learning about their lives, and you get that in aesthetics. It doesn't feel like work, it's a bit of a social, I think. Obviously you're doing important stuff, and you have to take it seriously, but you can enjoy it. You don't have to stress about it. Get to know your patients. And let them in on you and who you are. And they want to come back because not only do they want good treatment, but they want the rest of the gossip. What's she doing now?
So in answer to my question, it sounds like you want some financial freedom, just some life freedom, being able to make your own decisions. But also you want that emotional juice that comes with aesthetics, that connection, that having a good, I'm not a clinician, but I have sat in to a lot of the appointments, and it's actually beautiful to watch our clinicians connect with the clients and go deep and start talking about deep things, isn't it? So it sounds like you're getting sort of like, so your needs are the certainty of knowing you can control your own day, the love and connection of just getting involved with people, and there's something about the glam and the glitz and and that, but I think that is that's like your inner queen coming out, isn't it? That's the part
I just feel like I'm well suited and it fits me. Like you've just found that one thing that this is where I'm meant to be. I just love it. Absolutely. And I'm quite good, I suppose, at recognising my patients, what their needs are before they actually see it.
Okay, tell me about that.
When you can just feel, because I'm quite a feely person, so I feel people's auras and stuff like that. And I usually hit the nail on the head, and I'm like, is that bothering you because of so-and-so? And if you can pick up on that, you can build up trust really quickly, and people are like, she understands me. So
give us a tip for that other people could use. Like give us a practical sort of thought that goes through your mind when someone's walking through the door, they're having a treat that comes out the lips done, for example.
Even that, how did you walk through the door? Who did you come with? Do you look stressed? Have you got a million bags? Are you asking me what time it is because you're in a rush, And it's just picking up on all the cues, not just what they verbally say, because I think it's 80% of communication is non-verbal. I suppose I pick up on empathy as well. So what's my top tip? I think it's being really honest. And when you say the elephant in the room, that people are like shy to say, I suppose you save them from having to say it. Almost, like you're a bit of, you're a helping hand that said, actually, is that bothering you because of so-and-so? It just takes that worry out of them, so they'll just let it go.
Now, on this, because I want to be the voice of the listener here, I think that people who are listening to this, other medical aesthetics practitioners, won't want to do that because they worry that calling out the elephant in the room makes the elephant bigger. So let's say that so let's say that someone walks through the door, and let's say they're a bit cold with you. So forget all your lovely bonding. Like the first thing is they're actually cold with you. And let's say that. So how do you deal with that? And do you not worry that you're just gonna, if you suddenly say, oh, I can see you're worried because of this bad thing that's happening in your, because people, that's what the problem. People don't want to highlight bad.
I've always found that if you say, making a bit of an intelligent guess here, you look really pissed off today, are you alright? And then they go, oh, someone who actually noticed, who's willing to say it, and then they'll vent, and let them vent, that's fine, as long as it's not, directed at me. But I honestly believe, because I also work in palliative care, and you can't really get many more traumatic experiences than that, and I will just say, this is bloody awful. And people go, thank God someone sees what I see.
That's so fascinating. Can I just get real for a second and say that I'm also quite good at calling things out when they're bad. But I tell you, the one person I'm a bit shy at with doing that is Tim. If Tim's in a bad place, I really struggle to call out the bad, because I feel like I feel like I'm going to make it worse. So, but what you're saying is
it's quite the opposite, isn't it? It's just saying you have permission to talk about this, and I'm not going to pretend it's not here. But it definitely works for me. It really does.
So what's and again, sort of in tip land, it sounds like what you've done is you've taken your experience from your palliative care and put it into your aesthetics.
Well, when people stress about aesthetics, and I'm like, but you're already a doctor or a dentist or a nurse. You've got so many skills. Just adapt it.
But can I just say the reason that they might be coming at you and talking about the fear with regards to aesthetics is because they feel they've got something to lose. So if you, let's say for example, let's say that I deal with lots of all different types of medical aesthetics practitioners. And let's say that you're talking to some, plastic surgeon or something. And this plastic surgeon you might think of as kind of, theoretically higher up than you in the run. But actually they don't. They feel they've got further to fall. And this is what fascinates me about you, love, is that I feel like you live your life. Well, not completely, but I see you doing things that demonstrate to me that you don't fear the fall. I don't think you think before you act, oh my God, I'm going to lose face, or I'm going to lose love from these people. Do you know what though?
But making a connection and being compassionate is, if you do make a mistake, you've just built compassion by owning it and apologising and dealing with it. So actually you've won, because you've built more trust. There's nothing more trusting than someone going, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, I'm so sorry. How can we rectify this? Your client's going to go, oh, right, okay. Where do we go from this? Yeah, okay, I'll have 10% off next time,
Instead of suing you, which is what people fear, or taking your NMC pin. Oh my God, I so believe that. So what you're saying is that you should proceed in your aesthetics business anyway, even if you're scared to do something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then with the knowledge in mind that you have a safety net, which is that you will own a mistake if you make it. That's fascinating.
It's quite simple, really, isn't it? But
Well, you say it's simple. Come on, like the lizard brain is not. The lizard brain that I was going about is
like
not simple.
I had a client come to me, and she was telling me how my job was, you know, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you, because she told me that fillers don't lift, and I was like, I think they do. But anyway, I was like, I can see that I'm not going to meet your expectations here. Bye-bye. And it's just, if I'd have delved into that, because I wasn't winning at the consultation, if she didn't trust me, then what's the point?
But where does all this strength come from? Like, I'm sitting across the table from someone who's 7 months in. Honestly, dude, like, there are people who are listening to this who are 7 years in and thinking of quitting because someone was rude to them online, or because they had a horrible complaint, or because they're really scared to do lips, despite the fact that they have done 50 million courses and are entirely competent, but they don't want to jump off that particular cliff. Where does this kind of attitude that you have, this mindset around, I'm going to be okay, I'll handle it, where does that come from?
Well, I am a little bit robotic, so that's the protocol, that's what you do.
Okay. But there aren't that many protocols though. Like, I mean, I know, obviously, you know, you trained with Skin Baby Training, we give you protocols, but it's like, there isn't a protocol for a complaint, let's be honest.
No.
So how do you get the strength to deal with that in a emotionally free way?
I think my background's a bit of an unusual one, so it might be why I've stood out to you, Miranda. Where my childhood, I sort of kind of brought myself up. So there was nobody around, and I used to, like, when I was 6 years old, I used to walk to school, I had a key to the house, I knew the alarm, come back, parents weren't in till 6 o'clock because they're working, and I parent myself.
Okay, fascinating.
So I've done that forever. So I think that's where I get a lot of my strength from, is I was a mother before I was a mother, if you like. So it's probably what makes me unique, is the childhood trauma that I've learnt from, is giving me loads of skills, really independent. I know my own mind. I know if I'm in a crowd full of people that, you know, I don't agree with, I'm quite happy to say no and move away from them. I'm, you know, mentally strong. And, you know, you can just be sure of yourself.
Yeah, that's so interesting. You know, it's just, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, from someone who, I mean, I had the complete opposite. Well, I mean, my parents, I didn't get mollycoddled, definitely not. And I was, you know, taught to work very hard, etc. And so I've always hustled. But, you know, they were there, and, you know, and there was lots of love and lots of kind of like, you could be anything kind of, you know, which is amazing.
Mine was the opposite.
Yeah. So from someone like me, or someone else who may be somewhere in between or whatever, people, what they struggle with, the people who will be listening to this, is that they don't trust themselves.
No.
They don't emotionally trust. They don't have what people call is confidence.
Yeah.
They don't. So let's use the example I always use, which is a good example for so many reasons. So let's say that we need to, one of the things that made me notice you first of all is your confidence to just get out and do video.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying that, I don't want to make you into some, you know, like Jesus-like figure is like, just, you know,
that's just my thing. Yeah.
But you just did it, and I'm sure you'll grow and you'll become, in 5 years' time, you'll be doing better videos, and that's great. And I don't want to say you're a completed picture. But in that moment, when you picked up the phone, when you're in the ice rink and you thought, Bolster, I'm just going to do a video to the Mindset Warriors, reflecting on something that I find interesting. Like, what made you think? Like, who do you think you are?
I love it. Do you know what? I don't take myself too seriously.
Okay.
And I think I make myself laugh. So I'll watch my own video back and think that's hilarious. But it connects with people, and the feedback I get is that people enjoy it. So why not share it?
But why? But put yourself in the position of someone who is literally shitting themselves.
Yeah.
They have been procrastinating for 9 months. Their excuse is that they need a blow dry. So next time I get a blow dry, I'll do a video. What?
Right, okay.
Like, who gets that? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. So we need to find a way to get you to do video now.
Yeah.
They're thinking to themselves, who the hell do I think I am? I haven't got
Yeah.
anything interesting to say. I'm not an expert. I'm purporting to be an expert on my Facebook. I'm going to say, oh, another classic one, which we just had this morning or last night is, oh, I've got a hideous accent.
Right.
Which always gets me because it's like, well, you've got the accent of the people you're serving, so I don't quite know what the but anyway, I'm not going to be disrespectful. Like, I also have fears that people wouldn't understand, so I do get it. So they've got all these thoughts running through their mind. They've got something they want to say, but they think it's going to be a pile of poo. So talk to that around how could that person use the humour example, like the humour sort of thing that you think, or anything to get themselves to jump.
It's a good start, isn't it, in the mindset group, because it is such a safe group. No one's going to point the finger and laugh at you. Mm-hmm. They'll critique you if you ask for it, won't they? But it's a good place to start and build that courage before you maybe do it on your own platform.
Yeah.
But your audience loves your quirks.
Exactly.
They absolutely love it. They don't want me stood there, my face doesn't move. You know, they want me to. It's just being real, and that's who you are.
Talk more about that, because I think this is a good tip for people to get, or not tip, it's a good understanding for people to get. So when you are in, I saw one of your Insta stories recently, you were in like Toys R Us or something, Smythe's or Smith's, whatever. When you're thinking, right, I'm getting my phone out, I'm going to do a video.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, do you think about your client? Do you think about just getting the sass on? Like, what do you think that makes you go over the edge to pick up that phone? Do a video.
Honestly, it's humour.
Right.
I think it's funny. And I think if people realise that you're not serious and they can connect with you and, just have a bit of fun, you do connect with an audience a little better, I think.
But, right, because I'm going to play devil's advocate throughout this.
Right.
What about, oh God, I'm a dentist. I'm a complete perfectionist. My parents told me when I was a teenager that I wasn't worthy unless I was completely perfect, all A stars, whatever.
Yeah.
My career has been a complete story of perfection. I rose through the ranks. I've met all my targets, la la la. I'm scared in Toys R Us. I don't want to do a video of my child, dancing, in case I get ostracised by my peers, and in case people think I'm unprofessional. What would you say?
But you're a human. You're not just a professional, and you're not always at work, are you? Mm-hmm. And people like to see the real you, probably so they can relate to you. And they think, oh, she's my kind of person, I could get on with her. She's not going to take the piss out of me if I come in and say I've got this problem. Because you're humble. Because actually people that are really like posh, and they put me off. I'm like, oh. But if I saw somebody who's a bit more, common, if I could say, I would feel more comfortable. So it probably depends what clientele you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, your vibe attracts your tribe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And,
Exactly. So maybe that does work for that dentist, let's say, because they're looking for those clients.
Well, no, it doesn't, because, my theory is that your vibe attracts your tribe, as Mel Wright said to me once, and you attract people who like a queen. They like somebody who's owning their own space and their own vibe. You like that. You're going to attract people who like a bit of humour and like a bit of realness. Yeah. But still are enjoying the fact that you're competent.
Yeah, exactly.
They feel safe with you.
Yeah.
Now, with the dentist example, I would say that dentist needs to connect with what is real about them. Now, they might not be funny. We all know people who we love, but aren't funny.
Yeah.
Or aren't particularly kind of, casual.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of literally people who I deeply respect, who I love hanging out with, who are quite serious.
Yeah.
But they are other things that are real. So they might be really they might be really wise. They might be really... So, for example, Mel writes, she's super calm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she's just... I just like being around her, even if it's just online,
Yeah.
because I just feel a little bit calmer.
Yeah.
I feel like she's ordered. Her life is kind of ordered. And
yeah.
I can tell she's neat and, but she's, she's out there, she's living life. She's not, in some princess castle. She is a real person.
Yeah.
She's calm. So she needs to well, she does. But I think that we should all find what is real about us and then double down on it.
Yeah.
So tell me, we know what's real about you, but have you been on a journey where as you've done your videos, etc., on your Facebook, on your Insta, have you noticed more stuff about yourself, or did you know it all already?
Yes, I have. I noticed common phrases that I kept saying. I was like, Katie, will you come up with something else? And you just sort of, that's your grab of a phrase.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wouldn't have noticed that if I hadn't watched myself.
So are you saying that's a good or a bad thing?
It was good because I recognised that I need to stop doing the same thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm interested in, have you noticed more strengths in you, more things about you as you've been going on your journey of video or whatever, or just writing blogs and things? Have you noticed, oh wow, people...
I've just embraced myself and the real me and my personality, and it's been lovely to get positive feedback that people have warmed to it, because you don't know till you put yourself out there, do you, what people are going to think?
No.
So I suppose I've been quite lucky, and it has made me more confident in myself. And I think when you rub it off on other people and you recognise that that's helped somebody else, that makes you like, oh, I want to keep doing it, because you're serving someone, and you do get gratification for yourself, don't you? Self-reward. I think you just enjoy... I enjoy doing it the more I do it, I suppose, and I work out what's right for me and what isn't, because I've changed it up a bit as well as I've gone. Like you say, in Smith's, my son and my husband dancing, I wouldn't have done that 5 months ago, because I was probably a bit more serious 5 months ago. But it's opening up your lifestyle, isn't it? Because that's what social media is all about. You're selling a lifestyle, aren't you? Connect with me.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, people want to know who you are. So I was looking back on my Instagram page. I didn't even have an Instagram before I started aesthetics.
Yes.
So it's not like I had followers from friends and stuff. And I thought, what was the first post I ever put? And it was a selfie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, because your business is you.
Yeah.
And if they can't see who you are, especially in aesthetics, because it's so dependent on trust. If I don't know who you are, how can I trust you? So
let me play devil's advocate. No, it's not very professional. I'm ugly.
I just want it simple.
Well, yeah. This is what people say. I'm ugly. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't actually have treatments myself. Well, that's probably a whole other conversation. Let's say that you aren't the image of aesthetics. You're not glam, let's say, or let's say that you haven't had your blow dry. No, I don't want to get out there. It's not. People don't want to see me. Another massive one is this NMC objection that if you put or maybe the NHS job, people will judge you because now your face is out there. The more and more you get out there, your face, your personality.
That's a big one for people, isn't it?
So talk to that. What would you say to that?
I don't really care what people think.
Why?
Probably it's like going back to before, you can't rely on other people, rely on yourself. So if I think it's a good thing and I know I'm not breaking any codes of conduct, then I'll continue to do it. And actually they're just jealous anyway. I think most of it's, she's actually got her eyes open to the world and she wants to make a difference and create a life rather than on a bloody conveyor belt that's made for you through society. So I think if you do get people like that, it usually stems from jealousy.
Yeah. I would just add to that concept of jealousy. I feel like when I think of jealousy, I think of, the green-eyed monster, someone kind of like, in a corner, like, and actually, I don't know if they are sort of, I feel like jealousy is quite
It's almost like, I'm better than that, because I wouldn't do that. That's almost how I imagine their thought process.
I think they're protecting the fact that they are scared of doing that.
Yeah.
So an analogy would be, when you're at a party and like a house party, I don't really go to them anymore, but in your 20s when you're in a house party and it's getting late and everyone's having a really good time, it's in flow. And then one of the key members of the party says, right, I'm going to the pub now. And a little part of you dies, a little part of you your heart sinks because you think, well, I'm invested in this party. I thought this party was where it was at. And if the cool person goes, then you feel like it's a slight on the party that you've invested in, and you feel a bit and I think this is what happens with the NHS colleagues, is that when you go off and do aesthetics and start creating, as you say, your life, which is a beautiful phrase, I wish we would all create our life, then it's a slight. They feel like it's a slight on the party that they chose, and that's where they'll start coming out with the whole kind of like, it's it's a bit yucky, aesthetics. Oh, it's all money. Then the accusations around money grabbing come out, or it's so everyone's on the bandwagon. You won't. There's too much competition. And all the negativity starts to come out. And to be fair to them, a compassionate way of looking at them is that their party is a little bit more pooey now.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
in the fields.
I hadn't seen it like that. That's definitely interesting.
But I feel like either way, whether you think it's straight down the line jealousy, or whether it's they feel a bit left behind, it doesn't really affect you. Shouldn't really affect you, should it? It's like you just need to live your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to serve your own purpose, don't you? No one's going to do it for you. Do it yourself.
But this seems like a theme that you're coming back to, which is this: no one's going to do it for you. But what I would challenge around that is, in regards to the people who'll be listening, is you've learned that in your life, that people won't do it for you, so you need to do it. But actually, I think that, unfortunately, a lot of us who had, maybe parents who did set up their life for them, and who did this, and conveyor belt did this, and then this. I mean, I literally, I went to school, I went to uni, I did blah, 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 blah. It was literally, and every time I went into a new phase of my life, there was ready-made friends for me, literally. And so now when I'm having to kind of do it myself, it's harder.
More challenging.
Because there isn't a model. I mean, hopefully, actually, it might be quite beautiful if someone like you could be the model for the people listening. So people are actually like, oh God, she's done it, then maybe I can do a video myself on my page or whatever. So that would be amazing. But let's say that you don't exist. Those people, I think, fear that they don't know how to sort of do it for themselves. So in a moment when you are constructing something completely new, how do you get brave to do this new thing?
My bravest phrase to get your butt moving is, what if I don't?
Okay.
But that only works if you know what you want.
Okay. Tell me more.
So I've had a goal for a long time that I wanted to be financially, have financial freedom, create my own life. But I've been stuck in a world where, you have to do this and wake up at that time and go to work, and if you have that goal and you're not achieving it, if you can stop and go, I think really, if you can, it's harder to imagine what you could have because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But it's easier to imagine, and it gives you a lot more motivation to say, what if it stays the same?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to work forever for somebody else? Am I not going to have the time that I want? Am I not going to be able to, give my son a deposit for a house when he becomes of that age, support him with his funds for a wedding or whatever he needs? it's a lot easier and a lot more motivation to just say, if this continues, my life routine at the moment, what will it look like when I'm, 70? What backup plan have I got? It's a lot easier than visualising something that doesn't even exist.
Yes. But, so you are connected with what for you it would be a negative if when you were 60 you were just the same.
Yeah.
But what about those people, me included a few years ago, who actually, if they're
quite
really
happy.
honest, they're quite happy with they've got their NHS, and the way they came into aesthetics is they
Put a sideline or something.
a sideline, but I think there is basically I feel like they have got, as I said last night on Facebook Live, they have got an angel on their shoulder whispering, what if?
Yeah.
What if? And I feel like it's about raising our consciousness to say, just be honest, people, you are quite comfortable. Like, your NHS job,
Comfort is really difficult.
It is. You've got all your protocols laid out. You've got your nice guidelines, whatever it is. You've got your, decent income. Your children are happy. They're fed. You are comfortable. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because you've got the angel on your shoulder saying, what if?
Yeah.
What if we made a go of this? What if we were like Katie? What if we, had a dream and went for it and just balls out, just went for the whole thing and did the Facebook Lives and did the videos and, approached the salon and recommended 5 syringes instead of 1.
Yeah.
If we did all of that, what could our life be?
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that you need to connect with...
You've got to really invest in what you want, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose don't be limited don't have goals that you think, oh, well, I could achieve that. You can achieve anything. You are as capable as anybody else.
What makes you think that? How do you know me, Katie? I am.
Do you know what? I just think Miranda's got 2 arms, she's got 2 legs, she's got a face. Yeah, same as me. Why are we that different? Because we can all learn.
No, you don't
something
know
new.
me. Let's think. Oh, no, I was very shy as a child. Sorry, but this is just a fabricated thing. I was very shy. I was abused as a child. I was, I find it very hard to talk to new people.
Yeah.
All those kinds of things. Honestly, Katie, they make me different. I don't know, you're wrong.
Yeah. You need to challenge yourself, don't you? Make yourself feel uncomfortable to get out of that mindset. And it could be something small, whatever your behaviour is, just step out of it slightly and just maybe give yourself, a 3-month challenge. This day I'm going to walk past the salon I want to approach, and take short little steps. Is it Tony Robbins who says there's a staircase, but just take each step at a time?
Yeah, I'm sure you said that.
Yeah. Just make them little goals, but you do need to challenge yourself because it's not an excuse.
Yeah.
Because I've had plenty of trauma in my life and I've overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And it can still bother me, but I've got coping mechanisms to deal with that. Don't see it as one massive, huge project. Just take it step by step.
So are you suggesting that if there is a particular... So you've looked across the room to me and you've said you've got 2 arms, you've got 2 legs, you've got a face, you can do it.
Yeah.
Which I personally absolutely believe, from my soul, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Then I came back with a fabricated oh no, you don't understand, blah, blah. Are you saying to that person who, for example, is cripplingly shy, and maybe doesn't want to go to the salon, are you saying that they have to isolate what they're fearing, like a particular thing that they're fearing? It might be lots.
Yeah.
And then go at that and just try and chip away at that.
Absolutely, yeah. When I used to be a really shy child, and I used to be, one of them people that walk and they stare at the floor.
Yeah.
I was one of them people. And my grandma, is like my inspiration. It was, honestly, she was such a diva. Everybody knew her, everybody loved her. She was so embarrassing. She used to say, oh, look at my gorgeous granddaughter. And I'd be like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. But she taught me, look up at people and smile. If they don't smile back, it's their loss, but you feel good. And it did make a difference to me. I stopped walking around with my face facing the floor, you know. So it's just taking them little steps of positivity, I suppose.
So talking about kind of, that sounds like a daily practice.
Yeah, just general stuff.
So what other daily practices do you have to keep yourself filled up so that you remain confident and so that you do remain in touch with your best self? And it doesn't have to be like, the answer doesn't have to be like, I meditate for 5 hours.
I think it's making time for yourself. And just reflecting. I do reflect quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. When and where and how?
I could just be sat on the sofa and Coronation Street's on, the advert came on, and I'm a bit of a daydreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did you see my post the other day about the clouds?
No.
When I like watching the clouds, because you just think, you're just feeling, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's embracing moments like that. Like, if it's sunny, which is not very often, but if it's sunny, I get this, like, I'll have to go and sit out, absorb the sun, and just feel and reflect and think about what I'm doing. Am I on the right path? But I suppose it's putting yourself in that environment. You know, where do you feel good? Where do you feel safe?
Mm-hmm.
Where have you got time to just think? Because sometimes you don't have, it's hard, isn't it, when you've got children running around and you've got jobs to do. You need to make time for yourself, and that's self-care.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have to do I have to connect with other people, because I can isolate myself. I can just be like, I'm fine, I'm too busy. But I make sure that I do connect with people and build relationships.
But there's something there I want to pick up on, which is, you've said that you allow yourself the time.
Yeah.
Now, a big mindset problem that people listening to this will be experiencing is, I think it's in the top 2 when I polled people, is overwhelm. Now, necessarily in this industry, in my mindset group, it's something like 96% women. We're all of a certain age where we do, a lot of us do have kids, probably the majority.
Yeah.
We've got this job. Are you full time in NHS still?
30 hours.
30, yeah. So we've got this, big job, which has very, very stressful. A lot of us have responsibility, emotionally stressful. Yeah. Then we've gone and given ourselves this other job, this aesthetics, which is not just a turn up and, do.
No.
It's very much, you've got to create your own, you've got to create your own luck. And then we've also got, we might be caring for a parent, or we might be, volunteering at the local X, Y, and Z. So what you're saying is that, if I'm hearing correctly, you believe that you deserve the time to emotionally replenish.
Yeah. And also, if you find that hard to do because you're caring for somebody else, or you are no good to anybody if you ain't right yourself.
100%.
It's like I've had a friend who was breastfeeding. It was driving her mad, and she got mastitis, and it was just awful, but felt that she had to do it. And I stopped her and I said, look, that baby needs a healthy mother more than it needs breast milk. There's formula, as long as you're healthy, because you have to come first, because you can't replenish anybody else, can you?
It's that whole thing they say on the aeroplane, isn't it, that you have to put your own oxygen mask on first.
Absolutely. So if you feel it's selfish and I shouldn't have time for myself, well, actually you're being selfish by not investing in yourself.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be some crazy spa day every once a month.
Sometimes it's just I'm in the shower and I'm like washing my hair and I'm thinking about my life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything major, like sitting down and doing yoga or anything.
One thing I want to say about this reflection piece, which I have done as well, is it's not just that you reflect, you also put that somewhere, whether it be in your like blogging, by blogging I just mean put it on Instagram, or reflecting in the mindset group, or doing a video. And that I started doing that on Insta about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. Yeah. And at first I was just talking to myself, because obviously I didn't have an audience. I had 7 people following me. I was trying to get an audience, don't get me wrong. I wasn't just some, in cloud cuckoo land. But I wanted to put my reflections down about my journey.
Yeah.
And when I started talking to the world about my reflections, it seemed, oh, wow, the world wants to hear.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important. And even if it's just to your journal and you're just writing it in your journal, I think it's very important that we do put these reflections down. So we kind of have the time, carve out the time, and then put them somewhere. You don't have to, but I think it can end up serving the world.
Definitely, because that's what people want to connect with. They're like, who actually is she? I know she looks like that and she's whatever age and she's from Blackpool, but who is she inside? Because we're quite deep, aren't we? There's so much to us, so many angles. And so is everybody else. And if they match someone else that's got the same, inner feelings, they're like, oh,
yeah,
I get her.
Yeah.
We could be friends,
Yeah.
So it is, and I just love it if people, it's not very often, but I'll get someone who's like, I really like that post.
Yeah.
And you might think it's not that brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's touched somebody else, hasn't it?
And even if they don't actually end up telling you, they are in front of you, which means that you connected with them enough in your, let's be honest, it's marketing, isn't it? It's I mean, that, potentially sounds a bit crass that you've put your inner thoughts and it becomes marketing, but it is. Yeah. In the Mindset Warriors, every single day I post, I am marketing an idea because I want to get an idea out there. I'm very open about it. And so I think that what you're saying is actually very beautiful and freeing, because we all worry about marketing. Oh God, when should I post? How many words? What about the hashtags? And I actually think what you're saying is, whilst you think about those things as well, and that's great. You were also saying, just get your soul out. Just get your soul out.
That's what it is, yeah.
And then other people's souls will connect with your soul, and that's business.
Yeah.
Business is people connecting with people. The best kind of business, and the worst kind of business is when it's just some anonymous, company with no phone number on, and you can't, there's no tone of voice in their marketing, and you just and you end up hating them. Like an insurance company, you end up hating them. I think that's why kind of insurance fraud is quite big and things like that, because people just think, well, they're just some horrible company over there, Whereas actually when they see our soul, especially for something so intimate as aesthetics, where you're injecting their face, for God's sake, we need to see each other's soul.
And maybe that's the way around. If you don't feel confident about putting your face out, put your soul out instead. It could just be a picture of the sky and just talk.
Yeah.
It's like your own diary, isn't it?
Yeah.
People love it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, she's not false.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah. I think one super practical thing I want to say is, do try and relate it generally back to aesthetics somehow, which you do. Yeah. Because I think sometimes when people just put things about, let's say you've gone out on a day out with, I don't know, let's say you've something that's really unrelated and you think, that doesn't mean anything to the person who's watching it. No, I think it's potentially a little bit different with me and you, because you also have a network marketing business as well. So I think there's something about, you're talking to a couple of different audiences. But I do think sometimes when a medical practitioner is literally just putting been to Tesco and bought a steak. Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's Tesco, bought a steak. Well, what does that mean for me? I wanted my face injected, potentially. Yeah. So I think you've got to relate the steak back. And the way that you do that is you talk about mindset and how that affects, for example, your client's confidence and that kind of thing. So then that relates back to aesthetics. Yeah, exactly. So keep it relevant. Yeah, absolutely. And self-care, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's about investment. I think our clients, they also feel selfish. They feel selfish if they invest in themselves. They feel that they have gone too far. They worry about going too far with their, stop doing creams and start doing injections. So talk to that. Go there. Like we started off saying. And if that's your speciality, then embrace it. I had a treatment done once, and I won't say what it was, but it was there for about 2 hours, and the lady never spoke. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a chatterbox, I want to chat to you. I don't care, I've got my eyes shut, let's talk. And it did really put me off. So if you can, it's about having conversation with people as well, isn't it? It's like your hairdresser. Yeah. You know everything about your hairdresser, don't you? Yeah. Because you talk. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to.
Some people don't want to talk, but it's about actually offering them the opportunity for the two souls to meet.
Yeah.
And you've got to be emotionally intelligent in order to pick that up.
Yeah.
Right, we should let you go, but thank you so much. It's been glorious. I knew it would be. I hope that's been useful to people, and I particularly wanted to delve on this idea of when people are fearing things, and how do they, in that moment, how do they connect with basically, why should I do this? And I think what you're saying is, why not, first of all, and also just think about what will happen if you don't. If you choose now to not do a video, if you choose to not talk to someone, if you choose to not walk into that salon, then where will you be in 50 years' time? What will you regret? So,
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you so much, Katie. All right then, guys. So this has been our first Medical Aesthetics Mindset Warriors podcast. I hope that it's been useful to you, and please comment below wherever we put this. I'm not sure where we're going to put this. Please comment below on what other topics or people that you'd like to hear from, and we look forward to serving you again. Take care.
Bye.